Hey everybody, welcome to a series called Black Thought Bubble. Black people, come to the front real quick because we're going to talk about black fatigue trademark. So I know that you've all noticed, if you're watching this video, you've noticed that white people are rebranding their racism as black fatigue. And I would like to pull black fatigue trademark out of the vacuum that it's been presented in and bring it up to the front and how it's connected to all these other things that we've been seeing, both past, present, and what we might be seeing in the future. But I'm going to make this video as short as I can. So, black fatigue is talking about, they're tired of having to be considerate of black people. They're tired of the AAVE and the bonnets and the pajama pants and all this here. There's this graphic going around of a white person saying black people are violent and a black person saying, say that to my face and I'll kill you. When no one has talked about killing anyone, it's basically white people projecting their violence onto black people, as they often do. Meanwhile, white people are the ones who did the race massacres. But apparently the race massacres are okay and justified because black people in Chicago and Detroit trademark. What I'm getting at is it's the constant use of black people being violent to whatever capacity to justify white people literally genociding black people. It's the black on black crime trademark. It's the Detroit and Chicago trademark. It's all that. Detroit and Chicago trademark justifies Shiloh Hendrix chasing and slurring a black child in Rochester, Minnesota. And if you don't know Rochester, it's not rural, but it's rural compared to Chicago and Detroit. And the way I see it, black fatigue trademark is a precursor of greater things to come. And this might sound crazy, but rock with me for a second. I couldn't help but notice after applying some thought that black fatigue trademark is coming very shortly after 3 towns, including one very predominantly black town due to its long history of redlining, get nationally recognized for running white supremacist groups out of their towns. Rock with me for a second. And then Carmelo Anthony happens, and black people rally around Carmelo Anthony to make sure he gets an attorney in an obviously racially tilted injustice system. And then white people are saying that giving money to Shiloh Hendrix is a response to black people giving money to Carmelo Anthony, when giving money to Carmelo Anthony is making sure he has proper representation in a messed up justice system because the case is that he defended himself, versus giving money to this woman to run away from how she verbally assaulted and chased and harassed a black 5-year-old. And let's not forget that the Somali man who confronted and recorded her got harassed and doxxed, and there's been updates on what's been happening with him, but like Shiloh Hendrix is running the narrative on all of the harm that she has caused, and it's all eyes on her and blah, blah, blah. And on one hand, that is warranted because she's clearly a dangerous person. And on the other hand, she's outshining the accountability processes and the other harms that she's done. And that's also a part of the white supremacy. Keeping the eyes on the white person that has committed the harm instead of doing all of the other things, including underlining how accountability is happening, is a part of the narrative. And I also want to talk briefly about the video that she made where she gave an update about how she's been bouncing around Minnesota and now she finally has the money where she's able to move out of Minnesota. And in that video, she says, "Don't be afraid of people who are offended by a word." Now, I remind you that she's saying this while she's still in hiding, while she's still going to take that money to move out of Minnesota to run away from the place where she committed that harm. And they're saying that this adds into the black fatigue. That any harm against black people is justified because white people are tired of black people on all these other different levels and all these other different ways. I want to point to how this is going to affect black farmers. And I know that this seems weird, but keep rocking with me. I promise you I'm spitting. With the way that white people can rebrand racism and take control of the narratives, there's no doubt in my mind that while white farmers are losing their farms because they lost their government subsidies, that they will go after black farmers. And if you don't believe me, point right to the race massacres. Now, we might not think that because black farmers are struggling because they never got government subsidies. But even though they're struggling, they still exist. And they're going to be the ones who feed us because they've been surviving, and hopefully they will be thriving. But instead of white people rushing to help these white farmers, they're going to go after black farmers. They're going to kill black farmers. They're going to burn down their farms. And we're not going to hear about it because it's going to happen in rural areas. For all of this fear that white people have of guns and black people and the black unity that is what they frame as these bonnets and AAVE, and basically things that point to the culture that we have established under colonization, I think forming black militias to protect black farms is a great idea. Black farmers are vulnerable. And you might not think that because we don't really hear about black farmers a lot, but they're vulnerable. They're just as vulnerable as any other black person, really. But like, they have these things that they toiled and worked hard for. And I watched a video of a black farm that got burned down by white people not too long ago. Like, comparatively speaking, this shit happened yesterday. And don't think that that won't be on the rise. And just because we didn't hear about that black farm getting burned down, we won't hear about these other black farms getting burned down. So it's going to come down to us protecting our food supply, basically. And they're going to justify these horrible things that they're going to do to black farmers with black fatigue and Chicago and Detroit trademark and black on black crime trademark. The point of this video is that violence against black people is going to ramp up, and they're going to use black fatigue, trademark, and all these other things to justify it, while things will happen that we don't hear about. So one, let's make sure we hear about them. Two, let's make sure we protect each other. And that's the point of the video. This ran a little longer than I wanted it to. But don't worry about seeing me as long as you can hear me. That's the point.